Hi, family. So let's talk the church. Who wants to know what the church looks like in the next 2 to 3 years? It ain't gonna look like this. So I may rustle some feathers, but that's okay. They're not, what I'm saying is not, I hope doesn't offend anybody, but you never know these days. So this isn't a bad thing. This is just what the Lord has been showing me, and it's been confirmed by so many other prophetic voices. Here's the thing. The Lord has been dealing with me about the changing of the church since CV19. CV19 was a pre-baby pain, like I'm having a contraction reading a magazine. I know it seemed rough, but we haven't seen nothing yet. Because we're in the throes of the return of the Lord, things are just going to crescendo and get harder and harder as the pains get deeper and deeper to his return, okay? This is where we are. We went through the white horse. We're going through the red horse. It's okay if you don't believe me. It's okay that you have a different theology, all right? These aren't salvation issues, but what I'm telling you, regardless of what you believe, doesn't make what I'm about to say less true. It is true. We are headed to an economic woe, and things that are going to keep hitting us are going to chisel away and completely change the dynamic of how the church is functioning. Okay, so hear me. The Lord is moving from, because the last church age, although it served a purpose for the time, and the Lord used it to save many, the dynamic and structure of it, how it functions now and how it's always functions, was not how it was supposed to be. Someone on a platform, elevated, thousands of eyes watching them, spoon-feeding everyone a message, and then everyone goes home and goes about their life, buying all of their pleasures and just fulfilling their lives. That's changing. It was never supposed to be that way. That way kind of started off in like a Rome, Constantinople age, where these pulpits were erected and people would go and preach to the masses. There is a time for that. There is a season for that, for education. But as far as the church goes, the church is changing in a way that's more personal. The Lord told me a long time ago, right around just the last year and a half, when I started watching the churches change, and the ones that were on platforms, what was done in secret was being revealed throughout his churches, right? And we started seeing churches' doors closed, mega church filth coming out on different people who were living different lives behind closed doors, right? So we were starting to see the Lord uncover these things. But look, that is small potatoes to what is ahead for the church, but it's not going to be a devastation of Jesus' church. He would never allow that. The church was built for Jesus. This is his bride, and the gates of hell will not prevail. But it's going to shift into a family. A family. It's going to have a family dynamic. When the Lord asked me to go out and start preaching this year, January 1st, 2023, I had been preaching behind the screen for, 8 years. And to me, I was quite comfortable doing that. I didn't have any overhead. I didn't have any problems with people. It was easy. I could film wherever, whenever. And the Lord convicted me and said, you are doing what I've called you to do, but you're only doing it half-staff. You're not doing it at 100% of what I've asked you, and I need you to go out, and I need you to build relationships, and I need you to go and tell my people, I'm coming. Hug them, love them, heal them, pray for them, become a family. And so that's what I've done this past year. I have church on Friday night, and it's outside of the church institutions. It's no longer going to be superstar pastors anymore. They are coming down. And they're not coming down because, they're corrupt. I mean, the Lord will expose different things, but the structure is not how the Lord wants it to be as we're going into the return of the Lord. The structure is going to go from an institution where everyone is being spoon-fed from a superstar preacher. It's going to go to a family. You mess with one, you mess with all. Very personal. Having coffee together, fellowshipping together, eating together, meeting each other's needs. More like a network is what the Lord has showed me. If a need can't be fulfilled within that group of gatherers of believers, then it'll go to the network of other believing groups, right? And they'll be able to fund each other's needs, whether it be children's needs, adoption needs. when I put out that, remember, I don't know if you're on Facebook, I'm not sure, but I put out, why aren't churches receiving babies like the fire stations receive babies in these baby boxes? I got all of these responses that I didn't even ask for, right? They stay open 24 hours a day. They are CPR certified. They're more qualified in the church. So I got all of these excuses from the Western church, and the Lord was putting it in my mind that it's not supposed to be this way. The church is supposed to have solutions for the widows and the orphans, and we were supposed to be a network of people that if one cannot provide, we send it out to the networks and go, hey, we have this issue. Is there a family in need of adopting a baby? Is there a family who would like to take on this child? Is there any resources that the churches can funnel into this resource because we just received a baby on our doorstep? We should be the safest place for the world to go. And yet the Western church, because all we've had to do is just show up at a church on Wednesday, show up at a church on Sunday, check our box, and go fulfill our pleasures in this world. As long as it didn't affect how we did our life, right? As long as the church didn't bleed into our personal lives, everything was good. Until it started bleeding into our personal lives, that's where we would say, no, I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have the qualifications. No, this is somebody else's problem. Send it to the government. In those situations, what the church has done, because it's been this institution, superstar pastors, and people just feeding their emotions off good messages, it's caused the sex trafficking to be extremely high. It's caused this cycle of evil that just circulates because it's nobody's problem but the government. Children get put back into the government, they get cycled into the sex trafficking, they get cycled, they get thrown here, they get thrown there, they get lost, and we end up having an entire generation of lawlessness. The Lord is bringing back in family a network of people who are having church Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. And nobody is having to be ordained. They're just having church. They're just worshiping the Lord. Praying, and people are getting healed. Neighbors knowing the Christian homes that they can go to as hospitals, right? I can go to this Christian's house and I can get healed. This is where this is headed. And so as we move into the economic shifting, as these churches and superstar church leaders start coming down, it's going to happen economically. It's going to happen during the crisis. A storm is coming. A storm is coming. It will be short-lived and things will become on the mend as we get into 2030 and beyond, but it will never be the same. And then right behind it, we are having the beast system. Get encouraged, because the more that you're in Christ and you are on the right side, you're going to be in a place of Goshen. But you have to lean in and submit to what the Lord is doing and not hold on to the old system. The old system is coming down, not to destroy the church, but to make the church stronger, more powerful, more authority, for us to be able to take care of the situations that we should have been taking care of long time ago, but the government stepped in and started doing the job of the church, and now we have a hot mess of an entire generation that's lawless, that is unruly, that is grown cold with emotion and compassion. And it's because the church has forsaken our responsibilities in taking care of the helpless. Really, the networks are going to start forming. Where I, in my little network or our little network, or the churches that have come up, if we can't fulfill a need in our church, I'm going to reach out to the other networks. Hey, we have this issue. Can y'all help? Other churches reaching out to our networks. Hey, we have this issue. Can you help with this? That's how it is. And it's going to be until the Lord returns. And the Lord has shown me this. Although I don't know the details, we see in part. But be encouraged. If the Lord has asked you to go out and do, you go do. You don't have to have all of these permissions, all of these confirmations, extreme obedience. The Lord says, be doers of my word, not just hearers. Doer is obedient. You say yes. So be encouraged. It's the great and terrible day of the Lord. Members, there's a new video up for economic conversations about things that prophetically the Lord is showing some of us. on where to put assets to be able to be a blessing in the end days, to be the head and not the tail. If you need that information, guys, go to the members channel. It actually helps me fund different needs we have on Friday night church, like signs, we need cameras, we need all of these things. So in turn of you guys helping support me in the ministry, I give you all the financial and information the Lord is showing me and where I'm finding this stuff to be able to weather the storm to come. So I want to be a blessing to you as long as you're a blessing to me. But even if you can't, what you can bless me with for free is subscribe. That is such a blessing. And like the video and comment, because just by doing those things, you are giving to me, because you're causing the videos and the algorithms to start pumping my stuff out more, which blesses the ministry. So if you can't and don't have an extra $5 a month to support the ministry for the membership, for economic conversations, you can like and subscribe and comment. That would help so much. Love you guys. See you next time.